Okay, we're here for the HSP Discovery Workshop, and I'm going to intro myself just because some people watching this might not really know me from a bar of soap. So I'm just going to let everybody know I'm Jen Turnham, and I use my Bachelor of Psychology degree to help HSP extrovert women thrive and shine their light bright in the world. And it's my mission to also educate the world about how amazing HSP extroverts in particular are, because I think the world, particularly with everything that's going on at the moment, is in dire need of HSPs and our traits. So the last section I'm going to cover before we finish up is what to expect when we're interacting with others in the world. So the first thing is, not everyone will understand you. That's pretty obvious, I think, after everything we've talked about, and you've probably experienced it yourself. Not everyone will understand you, and some people don't even share that they're HSPs because of this aspect of it. And there's also discussion, a lot of people don't like the term HSP, highly sensitive person, and I think that probably relates back to what I was talking about hypersensitive people. We don't want to be associated as that, and when you say highly sensitive person, that's kind of what image I think the other person potentially gets. So this is not me. I tell everybody that I'm HSP, but that's part of my mission because I'm trying to change the understanding in the world about HSPs. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's obviously your choice. But what some people do is they call it sensory processing sensitivity instead, because that's obviously the technically correct name. The only thing I struggle with that though is because if you say, like I say I'm a HSP, and other people, extrovert I usually add too, and people say, oh, what's that mean? And I say highly sensitive person, and then they usually want to know more, so I go through the does criteria. But as I said, that's my mission, to educate people. And then I thought about saying, but if I say I have sensory processing sensitivity, to me that sounds like I've got a disorder, as opposed to this is an amazing trait that I was born with. And so that's why I struggle with that. I get that people don't want to say I'm a HSP, but I think if you say I have sensory processing sensitivity, to me that sounds worse. I don't know, because my other mission is to show people that it's not a disorder, and it's actually a beautiful, amazing thing to be, is a HSP. And the world, in fact, needs more HSPs. And for those of you who've read my blog, when I did the blog on autism versus HSP, I deliberately made quite a controversial statement at the end of it. And I am going to continue to make this statement, and it's potentially going to be quite divisive, and the non-HSPs might not like me. But it is my honest belief, in all the research and the reading I've done, that HSPs are more evolved as human beings than non-HSPs. I believe that it's part of evolution, and there's even now science that's starting to back that up. They've shown that being HSP is an evolutionary advantage. So that's why I'm so passionate about talking about the good stuff and the positives, because I think that we are more evolved. Our brains are more evolved than non-HSPs. And I know that's going to get me in trouble with non-HSPs, but I don't really care, because my people are HSPs. So it's about me trying to make you guys recognize how amazing you are. So that's the first thing to expect when you're interacting with others. The second one is, not everyone will like you. But that's actually a universal issue. So even if we weren't HSPs, not everyone would like us either. The quicker you can get past that, the easier your life will become. And if somebody doesn't like you, it's not even about you. It's not saying anything about you. It's just saying that these two people don't gel, or that other person has issues, and perhaps you remind them of their issues just by being you. So anytime that sort of situation happens, it's sometimes helpful to go, that just says more about them than it does about me. I'm not going to let their opinion of me have any impact on my opinion of me, because that's when you can get yourself into all sorts of trouble. The third thing is, you will be too much for some people, and that's okay. So again, if you can start to just, and this comes with self-acceptance and self-awareness. If you do the work, you get to a point where you go, because I still get that with people, when you're chatting to them and you might overshare, or you're just being like your exuberant self, and the people tend to start going like this, like there's this very subtle like, oh, I still get that, and I don't care anymore. I just go, oh, they can't handle Jen at 100%. So it's something that you can get past. And in fact, now I kind of see it as a bit of a, like, I kind of laugh a bit. In the moment, I still get a bit, oh, okay, here's another one. But afterwards, I just go, yeah, they're not ready for me. The fourth one, in the last one I'll talk about is, and this is the good one. So you will be too much for some people. However, some people will love and cherish you because they recognize how unique and special you are. So they see your sensitivity as a strength, like I see your sensitivity as a strength, and they love you because of that sensitivity. And they're the people you want to hang on to really tightly, because they're the people who don't see it as something wrong with you. They see it as a gift that you have, and they embrace that. And I've got my two best friends, they often say to me, but that's why I love you, Jen, because I'll be like, oh, I'll say something to them about, oh, I didn't mean to say that, whatever. And they go, Jen, we love you because you're like that. And that's a beautiful place to be. So hang on to anybody like that who's willing to learn about being sensitive, who's willing to accept you for who you are and see that as a gift. It's a beautiful place to live. So some tips for interacting with others is let go of caring what other people think. And this is not easy, I know. So it's another challenge to work on, is letting go of what other people think of us. And the number one solution to all of these issues in terms of dealing with other people is to work on your self-worth, because that will enable you to handle all of the above. Just take it in your stride and not get caught up in things that you can't control, because most of these kind of challenges when we're interacting with others in the world is things that we can't control anyway. So if we love ourselves enough, those things won't bother us so much anymore.